So, we're gonna go back even further now in discussing my creative writing endeavors. There was a old it was an old video game, came out in like I want to say like 1994, 1993, called Jazz Jackrabbit 2. And it was a game by Cliff Bleszinski, the guy that did Gears of War. It was a game made by Epic Mega Games, which now they're called Epic, and they've gone on to make Fortnite and stuff like that. It was a sequel to a DOS game called Jazz Jackrabbit. It was a platformer that also had like a online capture the flag mode and online like battle mode, stuff like that. And it was really fun, and it was also like my introduction to like meeting people on the internet and like forming internet friends. Some of the people that I met through that are Kazarad, who I haven't talked to in years, but he's the guy that does that webcomic, the webcomic that's like an Elder Scrolls fanfic that stars Katya, I think is the character's name. For whatever reason, I can't remember it right now. But that was where I met that guy. I met Mike Gagno, who he is the level designer for Ori and the Blind Forest. Is Jazz Jackrabbit Why You're a Furry? So, I was watching my... fuck. Every retort that I can think of right now is not something I actually want to have recorded of me saying. So you win this round because I've already worked through making cringy moments and atoning for them. I don't need to add to the fucking pool at this point. It's not like I'm like, oh boy, I wiped my cringe slate clean. Time to add more. No, so that's where I met like a bunch of people. And where I'm going with this... Oh, I also met Dean Dodrill, but he doesn't really probably remember who I am. That's the guy that made Dust in Elysian Tale. He was a artist for it. He ran like an artist forum, gave constructive criticism and stuff like that. And that's how I became a furry. Not Jazz Jackrabbit 2. Oh, no. I became a furry thanks to the works of Mr. Dodrill and in Elysian Tale, starring that one mouse character. I could go on about that, like what Dean's work was like before. I mean, I'm not an expert on him. I'm not like his fucking biographer or whatever. But anyway, that's how I became a furry, though. So, I met all these people, and one thing that we had on, eventually discovered like the forum that we had for discussing the game, and on it there was a section dedicated to fan fiction, which very quickly became just like a general creative writing forum, and we I remember writing a couple of stories on that were, again, not fan fiction, but they were just general creative writing projects. Now, the thing is, I was like 11, 12 when I was writing these stories. So they're borderline incoherent. Like, they're just a real, just absolutely like they barely qualify as stories. They're more like just a sketch of a fever dream. So I remember probably my most ambitious project was about it started in media res, which means that's what you call it when somebody doesn't know how to start a story, meaning that they open up with something like somebody getting shot, and then everyone's like, oh no, how could this happen? That's terrible. And then, like, as soon as they're about to reveal who did the shootings, it then just says, like, 3 days later, and then you go back in time and you get to see, like, how it all came together, like the world's worst Obra Dinn. So that's basically the way that story started. But god damn it, I don't want to go back in here. That's kind of the way that story began. Was, I think it was literally like some dude who was clearly like a secret agent in like an enemy HQ 3 days later is back. Okay, very fucking solid point there. He was in like an enemy HQ, and he was like running and like shooting at somebody, and then it was like, and then he stopped behind a corner and reflected on how he got here. And then it was like, then it like jumped back in time to like whenever the actual story was gonna begin. So it was, you know, basically like a kind of like the secret agent version of like, yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. This is the secret agent version of that. Now here's the thing. I didn't plan this story at all. Damn it. Yeah, I didn't. So I wrote that section, and I just figured, you know, if I just write the story, I don't really know how it happened. I'll just publish it as I go along, and we can all just kind of go on a little journey together. And so, I literally never wrote the connection between how the secret agent guy wound up in the HQ and where the story ended up starting, which was, I barely even remember writing this. I only remember this because somebody else found this story and used it to make fun of me. But it was about that, like, secret agent character going to a bar and getting thrown out of the bar for being too young. Because the secret agent character guy, I was writing this story when I was like, you know, like 11 or 12. So the secret agent character guy, he was like 14. So he was like trying to get into a bar using his like secret agent powers, but it didn't work. And so the story was, collect the caps, what the fuck is that? Oh, okay. I just need to go to the other section of the level. There's like some hats. So the story goes from somebody in an HQ getting shot at, doing shootings, to that person being thrown out of a bar for attempting to use a fake ID. I don't believe I wrote anything else in that story. Ain't that just what the fuck was I thinking? Clearly nothing, but like, good lord. It's so incoherent. Just absolute nonsense. And the person that found it even just said, like, this is sad. This is just a story about a kid getting thrown out of a bar. It's like, yeah. Can I wear 2 hats at the same time? Is that a mechanic in this game? I don't remember. Come on. Okay. Can I become ghost metal? I can. Okay. Now I just need to figure out what the hell to do with this. Oh, I see. I go over there. Okay. Now I need to make sure that I get there in time. Okay. I should have plenty of time to get there. It's a walk in the park. If the park were underwater. So, that was one story that I remember writing. The other story that I remember writing was... I barely remember this. It was about, it was about... So Man's Land... Where do I want to go? Okay. It was about a guy walking through these, like, alien lands where there were a bunch of effectively, like, dune worms. And, like, it was, like, post-apocalyptic where, like, worms had basically destroyed everything. And it was about him, like, walking through it and trying to recollect, like, what happened to this world, like what led up to this moment, and how the worms basically got there. I don't think I ever actually knew how the worms got there. I certainly didn't write it. I can tell you that much. I wrote this thing in the course of like 30 minutes. I posted it, and then I felt so self-conscious about how shitty the story was that I never read anybody's excuse me. I never read anybody's replies on that thread. Not a single one. It could have been that, like, everyone who read it was like, this was amazing. It was so, like, weird and mysterious and ethereal and stuff like that. But I couldn't tell you because I basically blocked that story from my mind because I thought that it sucked so much. That's almost sad when you think about it, of, like, I wrote a story that, well, shit, I'm just gonna die here. We'll just eat it. That's almost sad in a way. But to be fair, I did have the right idea because that story made no sense. Because it was just like this guy walking through these worms and, like, putting his hands on the worms and being like, I remember my dead wife. In more poetic, edgier, angstier terms than that. But it was about, okay, cool. Fucking, I didn't want to get up there to get the green shell anyway, bastards. I'll just go a different way. Screw this. But yeah, that's, that was the gist of the story, was a guy being like, these worms took my wife. And that was pretty much it. Really detecting a theme with my writing, in that it's pretty fucking awful. I don't believe that there was anything else that I can think of. But, oh, nope. I do remember another, story, if you can call it that. It was, God, I bet as soon as I start remembering this story, it's gonna be revealed that, like, I've reused elements of this story in every single thing I've ever attempted since then, because that's just the general theme of, if my fucking A button weren't stuck right now, I'd be able to get out of this goddamn Uboa's trap of a section of level right here. Good lord. That was a journey. Did the worm kill him? Probably. I mean, all I know is that, he was walking through worms, his wife was dead, and and it made him sad. So, the other story I can think of was... Okay, it's fine. It's fine. Oh, you... Okay. Okay, fine. Let's just get this, and then we're cool. We're Serenity. Let's use this to get on the other side. I might be able to get to the green shell, or get to the shell that way. Oh... Okay, I'm gonna exit the course. Okay, so, okay, so this was a story, at the time, there was a webcomic called Dominic Deegan that was being run, this was around the time when webcomics were still rather new, so I think that, Penny Arcade was kind of just getting started around then. Dominic Deegan was started. Everything was on oh, what's it called? Keemspot, something like that. Which is like an online, you know, portal where people could upload and host their webcomics, and for free, and like they would get some ad share, I think. I don't really remember. I bet you anything Keemspot's probably still around. So anyway, there was a webcomic called Dominic Deegan, and I was like, this is cool. I wanna, like, I bet I can make my own webcomic, because I was like, I like to draw. I don't like to draw. I don't know why I thought that. I've never liked drawing. I don't know why I do it. I was like, I like drawing and I like creative writing. What could go wrong if we merge the two together? I'm so good at completing drawings and stories, certainly by making something twice as complicated as each individually will lead to dramatic success. So, it was a fantasy webcomic, and the thing I remember about this webcomic is that it didn't have a villain. I wrote only good guys for this story, and I was like, well, so the villain was a dragon, and I was like, I'll just fill out the details of the dragon later. For now, we're just gonna focus purely on world building, and I was super into writing or picking characters where their names meant something that was symbolic to them. So, like, one of the characters was, like, real smart. So I went on to behindthename.com and I looked up like a German word for smart or something like that, and it was like, not Fabian, that means bean. Schuler. So one of the characters is named Schuler, which like means scholar. One of the characters was named like Eckhart or something like that, which is like Norse or something, or ancient German or something. Shocking aerolifts. What the fuck were the aerolifts? I don't even know. I'm just gonna go over here and I'll figure it out. So that was that, and I made 6 characters. One character was basically, her personality was a pretty fantasy girl, and I didn't know how to draw women. I still don't, but I'm slightly better at it. But I didn't really know how to draw women, so in all of the concept art that I was making of this character, well, in all the concept art for the work as a whole that I was doing, I didn't ever draw her. I just drew a space for her, and I was like, we'll fill this in later. So, and when I say I was like, we'll fill this in later, I just wrote that character's name in that space in the rest of the drawing. Good times. So the story didn't have a villain. It, all I really remember in terms of the world building was that there was a library? It was a, oh gosh, what was special about this library? It was a library, it was a fantasy world, right? So there was a magical library, which contained every single book, every single book, okay, so the way that this library worked is that, anything that anybody ever wrote down in the world would get, like, magically copied into a book within the library. So you could discover, like, anything, but, obviously, there's privacy concerns and stuff like that there. So, so there was like one part of the quote-unquote plot line which involved these characters going to this library and sneaking around because they were trying to recover like hidden documents. Oh fuck, come on, don't fall off, Mario. Okay, so it was about, oh, this is just the top of Wet Dry World, this isn't the star. Okay. Is it over here? So anyway, it was about them, like, trying to break into this library, so that they could, like, find, the evil, information book, bad guy books or some shit, I don't know. So that's the box. How do I get that? I'm gonna just talk to the Bob real quick. Might as well just get the cannon operational. So I was also really into the concept of information hazards at the time too. So the plot line that I envisioned for this segment of the story was that the characters would go into this library, and while they were trying to find like something from the villain, they would like read a book that contained like an information hazard, and then after, like, on accident, they would read this book that would then make like demons. Oh yeah. So the library had demons in it, and if you read like this one book, it made. Are you fucking kidding me? It made the demons of the library like. Oh yeah. Okay, so that's right. So there were like demons that ran the library, but the demons were friendly. They were in charge of the books, and they didn't let you read, like, just any old book. Like, no, you had to, like, basically get their approval. They were, like, the guardians, I guess, for lack of a better term. And so what they would do, to trick people, if they were sneaking around trying to break into books that they shouldn't read, what they would do is they put, like, fake books in there. And if you read the fake books, it, like, alerted the demons to, like, where you were, like, psychically. So you could never, ever escape them. What the hell is this one? Secrets in the Shallows and Sky. Oh, fuck this star. Okay, let's exit the course real quick. I need to start it at the lowest water level to pull this one off. And so the plot line was they would, please don't swear. Okay. So they would, I don't think anything actually happened after that. I was just like, well, we'll figure this out later. I'll figure out the story of Girl and Schuler and Eckhart at another time. And I never returned to that stupid-ass story ever again. That was the smartest decision I ever made. Oh, I just swore again. I apologize. So that was that one. I drew some drawings. I threw them away later. I didn't like the drawings at all. Half of the drawings didn't even have a character in them. They just had a character's name written on them, so... Probably shouldn't have thrown them away, though. Anyway, that's kind of... as of right now, that's the extent of all I can remember for stories that I attempted in my youth. I guess there are also stories that are kind of decent that I have never actually like written down. There's two more stories that I can think of that are like, God, I've done a lot of writing. And I've done almost no finishing of writing. So, I wrote a story. It was a concept for a video game that I called. The tentative title for it was called Small Earth because it was about it was a science fiction story that took place on a planet where it was significantly smaller than the planet Earth, and I just kind of liked the way that I just always thought that the phrase, I don't know, I just thought Small Earth sounded like pretty. It has like sort of a cellar door kind of feeling to it. And so, the box wasn't it. I actually don't remember how to do this star very well. So, what that story was, it was a science fiction story where... Okay, that was that one. Where's the remaining... I don't know where the remaining star is. Oh, it's over there. Okay. So... Actually, hang on. I need to get a sip of water real quick, then we'll come back to this.